Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today, Sunday. By some miracle, the microphone is working today, so that's good. We got that going.
Mine?
Well,
You cut me off?
no.
You mean? By the way, you told me before this that some people were leaving comments that we got in some big fight or something.
Yeah,
over the
we are.
Nia Mills
We're
video?
not.
Why?
We're not supposed to be talking to each other. We're in non-speaking terms, according to YouTube.
Okay.
To some
That's
commenters on YouTube.
They need to eliminate that from there. There's zero of that. The only reason I was not on the last video, everybody, is because, and you may see me leaning, because I thought that I still could do everything that I used to do when I was 20, and then my back basically said blank you, and
Yeah.
I'm now in physical therapy. I'm already had one visit to the orthopedic surgeon. I have another one tomorrow. I can't even move in the morning. I'm fine sitting here, but it turns out I got an MRI and definitely a bulging herniated disc.
You gotta stop, dude. You're not 20 anymore. You know.
I'm not stopping. I'm fixing this up, and I'm not
Yeah.
stopping. I can't.
All right.
It's
We
painful.
have people from all over the world joining. I saw New Zealand. I saw Switzerland, UK, Saudi Arabia,
Wow,
Iowa. So yeah,
Hey.
thank you everyone. Welcome. We don't have any like special announcements or anything today. We just figure we'd just jump in and answer some questions, talk to you guys, see what's up. What are you doing today? It's Sunday.
New Zealand.
Germany. Here we go.
I want to go to New Zealand. You ever been to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah, people say it's the
Couple
adventure
times.
capital of the world, really.
It's the what capital?
Outdoor adventure
Oh
capital.
no, it's awesome.
It's just
No
loaded
snakes.
without,
No snakes. The whole country. Pretty awesome.
what, they have like a magnet field around them or something.
Yeah.
How is that possible? There's no, the
Not
entire New Zealand, there's not one snake.
Not one snake. Not even pet snakes. Nothing.
Okay, somebody needs to comment on that if that's true or not.
I'm
Are
telling
there
you.
any snakes in the entire
There is
country
not.
of New Zealand?
No.
Okay,
No snakes.
interesting. Wonder why. You're not 40 anymore.
South
Woody.
Africa?
I know, I'm
Love
not
South
40.
Africa.
I was thinking more like 20. No, I just turned 60, by the way, and it's pretty painful. What I now know that a herniated disc is something that no human being should ever experience because you're incapacitated in the morning, but by the afternoon I can slowly move a little.
By the way, a lot of people are saying they don't buy it, that there's no snakes. So they're
Right.
learning something
I'm one
today.
Of them.
Everyone, welcome. You're learning something today.
I'm Googling.
No snakes.
I'm Googling it.
No snakes in New Zealand.
I'm
Look,
asking
New Zealand
ChatGPT,
is like
everybody.
a prettier or better Australia. You know how in Australia there's like
the
1,000
Australians-
snakes?
I'm sorry. We just
Per
lost
person?
every Australian subscriber. It's a
The
nice base of Australian subscribers we had.
Anyway, that's just what people say. I'm not
Okay.
gonna agree with it. I'm just saying
Snakes.
people say that. So yeah, so snakes definitely zero.
Well, when I don't
In
know
New
something,
Zealand.
I ask, of course, ChatGPT, who knows everything. Are there snakes in New Zealand?
No.
No, there are no native snakes in New Zealand. The country is known for its unique wildlife, and reptiles present include lizards, but snakes are absent. While there have been occasional sightings of snakes, these are typically non-native species that have been introduced and are not established populations. New Zealand's strict biosecurity laws help prevent the introduction of snakes and other invasive species.
That's what I said.
But there are snakes. They're
No,
just
they
not supposed to be there.
I don't think.
Wow. I can't believe I actually just learned
There
something
you go.
from you.
Same
No
thing in
snakes in New
Iceland.
Zealand.
No snakes in Iceland because it's freezing, so they don't survive.
Okay. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
He was right. That's impressive.
Okay, let's see what else do we have.
Change your chair to one that has better. Yeah, the chair, sitting is no issue.
Mhm.
It's unless I lean forward. No, it's standing up where you elongate. It's the shooting pain on my nerve is brutal.
Why do you guys gotta do a live stream on football Sunday? Because
Oh yeah,
It's-
well that's a good point.
yeah,
But it's early.
Better
There's plenty of
commentary, I
game
think.
times left. We're not going to do it for that long.
right. It's
Take
only,
a break from
3
your
hours
fantasy football. Take a break. I got-
They need to go volunteer at the Monterey Aquarium.
Who does?
They're saying us. We have to go and
Oh.
volunteer. That's a little far from here, Monterey.
Ah, that'd be
That would be
great.
cool.
Love visiting other aquariums.
Let's see. What else do we have?
No, I don't need surgery. They don't think I do. They think through therapy it'll get better, but it's been going on pretty bad for 9 days. Already been on steroids and muscle relaxers.
By the way, some people had an issue with us saying that, agreeing basically with the rest of the world, because this is a fact, that soccer is the worst sport. A lot of people had problems with that, but I mean, facts are facts. Like, we don't make the facts.
For me, it's not that it's the worst sport. I mean, I know you said that, but you can't possibly watch more than 10 minutes of it, can you? I'm saying there's nothing really going on that's too. And I'm not trying to be insulting, but 10 minutes of soccer, that's a lot of watching of soccer.
That's
and like, then every 2 to 3 hours, somebody scores a goal. And then that.
Like a tiny
the
ball.
Whole game for hours, it's 1-0.
With a humongous goal, and they go 0-0. Like, what are you doing? Like, how bad can you be?
It's tough to watch.
I mean, have you seen it? It's like the goal. You can fit 100 goalies in the goal, and they still don't score. Like, how can it get worse? It cannot be worse.
Yeah, but they're amazing athletes. I know that much.
I will listen to curling on the radio before I watch.
Curling on the
Olympics. But no, I'll listen on the radio. I'll listen to a curling podcast on the history of curling.
Oh, that is hilarious.
So yeah, no. And again, we don't make the facts.
Yeah, I know, Jamie. I don't want to go the surgical route. Everybody says any kind of fusing of the disc or movement of it, everybody's saying try to avoid it. My physical therapist, she actually specializes in this area, and the orthopedic surgeon just prescribed dry needling. I don't know how ever many of you have done any kind of fixing of spine with needling, but I'm about to do it. And I'll report back on that. I think Wednesday I'm going to have needles poked into my back, ass, and leg. I've never had needles put in my back, ass, and leg. But I'm looking for, in a weird way, I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know what that means about myself, but
everybody knows
needles
that
in my ass.
Acupuncture is facts.
No, I'm gonna have needles stuck in my ass. Which doesn't sound right, but that's what's about to happen.
All right, let's see. What else do we have? What questions does anybody have any questions about diving?
Oh, that's true. We haven't even gone close to the subject of diving. I'm surprised nobody's asking us about the video we just did that was really popular, but also really sad, Linnea Mills.
Yeah, Linnea Mills, yeah.
And we've got some follow-up stuff coming up on that. Yeah, acupuncture. Everybody swears by the dry needling. Really, when I say everybody,
yeah,
my doctor, who's an orthopedic surgeon here in Atlanta, to the physical therapist, to other people I know who have tried it, said it really makes a difference. So
yeah, like feng shui and chiropractors. Yeah, all facts.
No, people know.
Science.
Needles in your ass will make you better. That's for sure.
Right. Let's see. Any exciting reactions videos? Cute. I mean, I'm kind of biased. I would say all of them. So yeah, every Friday.
Jared, kid, Woody died with his back messed up. My problem is in the morning. I cannot move or stand up right now. I would not want to put a bunch of scuba gear on me right now. Once I'm in the water, I think it would be fine. So I don't know, but I gotta get this fixed. That's what I'm working on.
All right. Finally, we have a question that reassembles diving. What are your thoughts on the Halcyon Focus 2? That canister light that has like the Windows logo that we reacted to. Looks cool.
Remember. We reacted to it. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like the guys that went to like 1.9 PO2 in a cave. Yeah. One of them had that. I'm like, dude, that looks like the Windows logo. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I have no comment. It looks really cool. I wish Halcyon sent me one so I can test it. I would love to test it out, and if they want, I'm happy to send it back. But
maybe for a change, when they send you one, maybe somebody will send me something.
Maybe.
I know.
Maybe.
Stepchild here, but
that's the advantage with going to the post office first. Let's see. When routing the primary regulator with a long hose, how do you do it with the Dive Talk Go? Same way you do it without the Dive Talk Go. Same way. Just wrap it around it.
Yeah, guys, the Dive Talk Go, it doesn't sit like so far up near your chin, right? It's down a little. So you can imagine that regulator would be about right here, and the Dive Talk Go would probably only come to about right there. It's just perfect. In fact, the Dive Talk Go, the top part of it, you're wearing that on a necklace. The reg kind of sits like on the top part of the Go. It just sits on it. It touches it.
Great question. Any videos on your meetup this year? Any news for next
I
year?
think there's a big video being made.
There are several. So we have a series of videos being made. The challenge is that we went with, very, very professional crew to record instead of just us doing the recording. And that professional crew wants to produce a professional level, serious. So we have some stuff coming up. And as to news for next year, all I can say is that we are planning to have another meetup next year. So if you've ever been in a position where you're like, man, I wish I could go dive with Gus and Woody, or I wish I could go learn, with Gus and Woody, this is it. Sign up for the meetup. Don't miss it, because we will spend a whole week with.
Speaking of
what
professional videos,
why is your light on?
Well, I'm just
okay.
I'm showing them that I could have done the meetup video, but I've actually never done this. I've never
go to the meetup,
taken a video of us doing a live.
Okay.
That we are in the same studio. Pretty cool.
That's
what it looks like. There's my camera.
What watch dive computer would you recommend? I'm looking for more activities than diving. So obviously a few days ago, we released our review of the Garmin Descent Mark III, which does more than diving. It does everything you can possibly do. It tracks everything. So that's really useful, but also is very pricey. So it all really depends on your budget. And yeah, Woody's wearing his. It really depends on your budget. If you can afford it, I don't think you can go wrong with a Garmin. In terms of a computer, like a dive computer, I think it's hard to beat Shearwater. I still favor it amongst all the computers out there.
Even after diving with this?
Just the dive computer portion of it. I don't think anything is better than Shearwater.
Besides the constant chirping, which I don't think I could take. Besides that, if it didn't have the chirping, would you like the Perdix better or this better on your dive?
No, I still think the Perdix is the greatest computer ever made.
Okay.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean, it's like, I don't know. The Perdix is a Ferrari and this is a Lamborghini. Like, it's still a really good computer. It's an excellent top of the line computer. I just prefer the UI, the user interface on the Shearwater better.
Okay. I haven't dove with this one yet, and I need to do that as well. Then I'll do my review of it. But I can tell you right now, if I'm on a rebreather and I hear chirping, that's not going to go well.
Yeah. Have I heard of the Suunto Ocean? I've heard of it. I don't have one. I haven't heard great things about Suunto computers. Hopefully they have improved.
I went through 11 of them that broke.
I hope that
not for me.
The quality has improved. I did talk to somebody who watched my review and said, man, I love my Descent. I'm on my third one. And I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, you bought every version? He said, no, the other two broke, but they have great customer service. I'm like, is that a good thing? I guess.
I don't know. Customer service, I'm going to be open-minded. It's a super cool watch here on the surface. This thing tracks everything.
I still like regular watches, though.
It tells me if my fitness is ready. It tells me how my sleep was. It tells me what my pulse was. It's got so many functions. So that's pretty cool. But I don't know about the diving yet. We'll see.
Let's see. What else? Do you recommend buying my own CO analyzer to be safe? Not all dive centers have one. I don't know if owning your own is safer, but it's definitely convenient. Woody has one, I have one, and we get to use it. By the way, thank you so much for the super chats, Lucas. 28 Canadian dollars. That's like,
thank you.
12 US dollars, I think. I don't know the math, but I appreciate that. Lucas, so his comment is, my dad had this health issue and pain for 2 years. What made a difference is non-gravity spinal decompression therapy using specialized table and laser therapy. By the way, that is a fact. So thank you, Lucas, that we should pay you to share these facts, not the other way around. That is true. Those tables where you hang yourself,
yes.
Oh, man, those are
so
great.
So my PT, it uses that. Just so you know, I'm getting ready to start doing that. And they also use the laser therapy that you mentioned.
What is laser therapy? I've never
They
heard
literally put like a laser. She said that's coming. They have this at the PT practice I go to.
Yeah.
And they somehow the laser, maybe it heats it in the right place. That's coming. She also uses radio signal where they'll rub this ointment on there. That she already did once with me, and
Yeah.
then the radio heats up the ointment on it, and it does get really. So remember, I've only gone to one session so far, but I got a long way to go.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of lasers. I
Would you-
guess it's like the same lasers that people used to like remove hair and stuff, just
Yeah.
like
No,
less intense.
They sort of brag on their website that we have that laser therapy that they're speaking of.
Yeah. Gamer Dave, thank you for
there
the
you go.
super chat. £5. That is also like $12.
Thank you so
Interestingly enough,
much.
they okay. So would you consider diving the Red Sea crossing to see the strange shaped coral growths
Yes.
that have been found there? Hope is all good. Yes, absolutely. We would love to go to the Red Sea.
You had me
sounds
at
like
red, and then word C added more. Yes.
You had
We
me
have
at
an
red.
interesting trip coming up. Should I not mention it?
The what?
The
I
trip
don't.
we have
well,
coming
it's
up in
not,
January.
It's not official. So I feel like we'll save it for the next.
Don't even mention
the next live stream.
the country that we're going
Well,
to.
let's just announce it on the next one.
It's cool, and trust me, you would not be able to predict the country we're going to.
Yeah.
Got invited to, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Let's see what else do we have. By the way, there's a lot of questions coming through. If you notice, the easiest way to stand out if you really want your question answered is to do a super chat. You don't have to do a super expensive super chat, but it's a lot easier from the user interface for us to see it, like highlighted. Or else there's like a million in a row and it's hard to spot them. So just being honest.
Is there a purge button on a DSV? No. There's no purge button. You just blow out.
Yeah, you just blow out. When is it dangerous and you say it's not worth trying, or do you always try first? Like, what are you talking
In
about?
what?
Like
In
equipment,
anything?
diving? I'm not sure if we have all the.
Well, a video, actually, it's a video that we just recorded that's going to come out, which is about depth record setting. We just talk about this exact subject. We did. So
Yeah.
wait and see. I would tell you that anything that you do that goes beyond your training in diving is crazy. It's too dangerous. If it goes beyond your training, it's probably too dangerous.
Yeah. Hello from Finland. Any tips for my upcoming side mount course? Just get a good instructor and listen to your instructor. That would be
Wow.
my tip.
Ray, you should join the Punkfishes on their next trip. I love Veronica. Her and I have so bonded by her correcting me rather aggressively on my Shearwater series, where she was like, "You're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing." I fell in love with her when she said that because she was right. And then she added to the series. And now we're always back and forth discussing stuff. So she's awesome.
That's awesome.
So is a bunch of their other folks, and I absolutely would love to join them on that. Time is what's difficult right now.
Yeah. Guys, you can just
Wait.
turn off silent diving on the Garmin. It will kill all sounds and vibrations.
But
But it will kill it on the computer maybe, but not the transmitter. The transmitter relies on that beeping.
But to their
communicate.
point, then we would just wear our Shearwater on our left arm for gas reading, and our primary would be this.
No, then I get rid of the Garmin then. Just dive the Shearwater. Like, what's the point?
That is.
I just feel
why
like they
did they do
solved-
that? What was they had to have a reason, or maybe we
They
can ask
solved
them.
a problem, but then made
What's
five
the
problems.
problem?
Like,
Why do they have the chirping to talk to their transmitter? Why don't they just use the same that Shearwater uses? Which I've
like
never,
on
I
a
don't lose
scale
my
from no problem to like watching an entire soccer match, what would you prefer? The transmitter beeping versus loss of connectivity for a few seconds?
I don't almost never have loss of connectivity on my Shearwater.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even remember
the
losing
fact
it.
that they
No.
try to fix that problem, which is not really an issue, and created a problem that you cannot make go away.
No.
It's insane to me.
No,
It's
I-
like
I
who
don't-
came
I
up with
won't
this?
like the chirping. I know me.
Yeah,
Either probably do the fish, like I'm on a rebreather to be silent. Whoa.
Ron, thank
That's
you
a
so much
huge super chat. Thank you.
for the super chat.
Super chat.
It says Andre.
Keep up the great content. Hope to dive with you someday. The high PPO2 video
Someday the high
guy.
PPO2 video guy.
Oh,
so were you one of the
wow.
divers on
That's
the
him.
video?
Man, dude, I still don't understand. Like, I would love to talk to you someday. Like, here's my real question, Andre. How do I explain this? I want to explain it clearly. What if the next little move higher on the PPO2 was the one that triggered the convulsion. Like, you don't know when it's going to happen. So
Right.
is it another foot down? Now you're convulsing. Where does it end? Like, you can't get at that. Where do you stop? Like, where in your mind, are you going to take it all the way to the point of convulsing, and then you just have somebody with you, so then they'll bring you up? Because if you're by yourself and you push it to the point where I am convulsing, then we will never get a super chat from you again.
Right.
That's what I don't understand. Where do you stop it? Where do you stop it? Because
I will say
you don't know when it's going to come on.
Yeah, I will say that was pretty dangerous. Garrett does have a really good question, which is, or a comment. He says he's taking the Go mech tooth diving next weekend.
Nice.
And a couple of weeks ago, Garrett went lionfish killing with the Go. Like, I love the fact that our Go divers are getting after it.
That's
They're
awesome.
using the rebreather all over the world. Love it. By the way, those of you who want more information about the Go, divetalkgo.com. Go there, order one if you're thinking about getting certified and starting to dive. Rebreathers is the lowest price rebreather on the market, and it's the easiest one to learn, in my opinion,
Yes.
because it works with your existing gear. You don't need to buy a bunch of new gear to dive with it. So,
Hey, Joseph, my
definitely
PT is all about core strength and that anterior pelvic tilt stuff. I mean, they have a whole, they have classes where they're working on people's just focusing on their core. Yes, that is a great point for sure. And you know what's weird though? I mean, I'm not saying I was ripped, but I had a pretty good core. Like, you could see some packs. I may have had a 4-pack with the last 2 packs sort of slowly coming in. I mean, I do a lot of sit-ups and stuff. Do you have a channel, this is from Demi, where you show things of yourself diving or equipment? Dive Talk Plus, we've been doing more of that.
Yeah, we've been posting some stuff, and there's a whole playlist in this channel, Dive Talk, with us diving.
Yes.
Because we do get those comments. People are like, you guys are only criticizing other people on your reactions, but we never watch you dive. Well,
No,
there's
you're
a whole playlist with hours of us diving.
And criticize yourself. Andre, great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did do that. Please read my
You
whole
did.
comment on your video. I agreed with you. You did. You were great, by the
I
way.
missed
This
that
is
one.
not a cut on you. Like, you have a really good attitude and so forth.
But Andre, take us to that blue, what was it called? Blue Abyss? I
Yeah,
think
let's
the
just
name
dive
of
it
I
safely
would love to.
with you.
Dude.
We're not looking to set any
We have
records
DPV,
other than
we're ready.
Just go, like, enjoy.
Absolutely.
Max 1.4 PO2.
Yes.
Stay within our limits. We can do it safely, so why not do it safely? That's sort of my point.
Thank you. How long have you guys been divers? For me, it's easy to remember, 2018, but you started back
Well, I was
in
11 on my first.
Mhm.
My first non-official dive, we were 10. Of course, we were just screwing around. But my first real official dive, I was 11, and I'm 60.
There you go. So yeah, Garrett, Go is my first CCR. It's amazing and so much fun. Absolutely.
It really is. It really is.
So for those of you wondering about the Go is our rebreather. We partner up with Mike Young, who is the creator of Kiss Rebreathers, to make a rebreather that was aimed more for recreational divers to get into rebreather diving. So most companies, if not all companies making rebreathers, are aiming for like, well, what if our people want to do 15-hour dives to the bottom of the ocean? We're like, how about we make one for people that just want to dive in the ocean and have fun?
And by the way,
Yeah.
how many
And not
dives?
spend $20,000.
How many dives have you really done that are more than 2.5 hours? Because I think
Yeah.
we both agree that in warm water, a mellow dive,
Right.
you're fine on the go for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
There's not many in my entire log of dives that I've been
Yeah.
more than 2.5 hours, including cave diving.
Yeah.
So that's plenty. You're jumping off a boat in South Florida, drift diving. And by the way, when you say it's kind of, the thought is to cater to the recreational diver, but it's not a recreational rebreather. This
No.
thing
It's
can
a
be
technical rebreather.
technical. I
You
mean,
can go cave diving
Mike
with
tested
it.
it in
Yeah.
the official testing. He tested that at 200 feet, like
Yeah.
for various different tests that they
For
do.
sure.
No, it's a
and
full
it is
technical
rated
rebreather.
to 200 feet. And again, 2.5-hour dives. So yeah, but way less expensive, right? I mean,
Yes.
we're talking $3,500 to buy the unit, plus whatever else you add on top of it. If you need a computer, you can add the computer and whatever. But
And
3,500 is very inexpensive compared with other rebreathers.
And we need to say all the info on it is at divetalkgo.com.
Yeah.
Divetalkgo.com. Jamie, we met. Thank you. We met diving. Actually, Gus was starting to take more classes at the dive shop that I taught at. That's how we really met.
Yeah, back in 2019, I think.
Yep.
By the way, I just wanted to mention that, Garrett, who made the comment about killing lionfish and looking for mech teeth, for the people that own Goes, we will be doing our own little Go secret invitation-only events, and we're already planning one. We're already planning one over the next couple months.
Love it.
So if you dive the Dive Talk Go and you want to dive with us, you will have way more opportunities if you own a Dive Talk Go
That's
than
no
if you
question
don't.
about it.
So,
and we can do more together, right? It's not that we're exclusive, but when you have the Dive Talk Go on, it's a rebreather. You can do more, but we think it'll be cool to all be together on the same rebreathers. Create like a little club. Divetalkgo.com. Really well done website by Steve LaShawn. Beautifully.
Yeah.
All the info about it is on that website, divetalkgo.com.
How do you get Go training? So the training is taught by instructors, rebreather instructors. Right now we have over 10. I think we have 12 instructors, but we have, within the next 2 months, we will have instructors in Asia and Europe as well. So it's going to be global. It just takes time.
And the online learning is still being worked on. Dive Talk Academy will have a full online learning for it. So the learning now for it, you would be going through a PowerPoint and you would be going through the manual, and your instructor will teach it to you. Eventually, all of that, we're still working on getting it all online. And here's another super chat by Taylor. I watch to enjoy you guys talking and explaining in depth. Best content in my humble opinion. Love this channel. That is,
thank you.
Very nice.
Sometimes it's tough though, but like we just recorded a reaction video that's coming out on Friday, and we had a pretty in-depth conversation about PO2 and tremors and all kinds of stuff. So if you like in-depth conversation, Friday's video is going to be great. Hopefully we'll release to members today, so they have a whole week to watch it, but everyone else will be available on Friday.
Great.
Do you have any instructors in the Midwest? Yeah, we actually have several. We have in Oklahoma, I think. Kansas, obviously Mike, who's in Arkansas, is an instructor as well. So yeah, we have some instructors in the Midwest.
Matt, this is a good question. It's a dive question. Why do you prefer DSV over a BOV? So a bailout valve, a BOV, basically when you bail off your rebreather and you're going back onto open circuit, the bailout valve is a regulator. Now it's going to fire and you will be breathing your compressed air. But they tend to be bigger. I think the work of breathing on them is not as good as the DSV, the diver supply valve, which if you bail off of that, you're going to have to then put a real regulator in your mouth. And I think also a real regulator is better to use when you're bailed out. Even if you're on a bailout valve, that's just temporary to get what they call like a sanity breath and stop and pause and think about what's going on. So if I'm ultimately going to have to go to the regulator anyways, because they don't recommend you stay on a BOV,
right? Why
not just close the DSV? It's lighter and smaller. I think it breathes easier. Where I'm going to have to, so all I do is put the neck, look, the regulator, it's right here. I just grab that regulator and put it in my mouth. So I like this, that it's smaller and the worker breathing's better. That's why I do it.
Yep. Gamer Dave, another question. Are there ones missing but now found wrecks or ships and planes that you can dive on in Bermuda? I don't know. I've never been to Bermuda, but I bet.
I've been there once. Only one time been to Bermuda.
everywhere.
Beautiful, but I don't know. I mean, there probably is more stuff we could dive.
For sure. I would like to use my Hollis DSV. How do you get on my Go? Well, I mean, again, if
you can.
Yeah, if you can have the hoses.
It's one extra hose. So
to fit
on your Hollis, BOV, no problem. It has nothing to do with the Go.
But the hoses, the connections are for the DSV. They're not for the Hollis BOV. So you would need those connections. There's some work that you need to do. It's not the same.
I didn't think about the hoses. Sorry.
Yeah, the connectors are a little bit different. But no, right now we're not offering any BOV options. We thought about it, but Again, it's just we want to keep it simple, and the DSV is just a simpler way to dive.
It's just the way that our hoses connect to the actual unit is a little different, so you would have to modify that on your BOV. And I'm not exactly sure how to do that at this moment, but I'm sure it's probably not a big deal.
Yeah. So Vitor is asking, hey, I'm living in Portugal. When do you think I'm able to get a go and have the training with an instructor? So you can get a go today.
Problem.
The selling of the go is not the problem. The problem is instructors, right? We're growing our network of instructors all over the world. Instructors in Europe and Asia are coming later this year. So in a few months, you'll be able to get training in Europe with your Dive Talk Go. Yep. But you can buy one today.
DiveTalkGo.com.
Yes. Let's see what else. Sweden.
Do you guys have plans to dive in other countries again? Absolutely. In fact, January will be
hopefully
the most unique,
not official,
country I've ever dove in. I'll just put it that way.
What else do we have?
Yeah,
we love watching you. Thank you, everyone.
We're pausing because we read as these go. Do you have an instructor list on your website? Mike asked that. That's a really good question. It is going to be on Dive Talk Academy.
Yes.
And it's going to be really cool. The technology we're using is going to basically be that it will automatically show all of the certifications that instructor is certified to teach on with Dive Talk Academy. And even the card, the certification card, will link back and give like a bio of the diver, all their certifications. So you can have like one card that'll link you back to all their certifications on the website. I mean, This is in theory, this is what it's being worked on and is being programmed.
Thank you, Andrew, for the super chat. I'm curious, why going back in the water is not a treatment for the bends? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Love the content. Great question. So there's actually classes right now that are taught about in-water recompression. That's what it's called. And the problem with that is that to do it safely, you have to have a ton of gear that I don't think anyone is going to be diving with unless they are an in-water recompression instructor or qualify and they prepare for it ahead of time. Like, hey, the dive that we're going to do, there's a chance somebody's going to get bent. Let's get ready for it. But on the class, I don't know if you heard this, Doug taught that class.
Doug
Eversole
took a class to become an instructor in it.
become an instructor in it. And Joe DiTuri was the victim. He's the one who got bent. The challenge with in-water recompression is that the idea of going through a recompression chamber, or a decompression chamber rather, is that you will be breathing gas with high concentrations of oxygen, perhaps 100% oxygen at really deep depths, right? And when you are breathing gases, oxygen at those depths, you can convulse. So if you convulse in a chamber, no problem. You're still breathing. You're having a convulsion. Yeah, that's not good. But you're not going to drown. If you convulse underwater, you will drown. So as part of the class, they actually put the victim in a full face mask. They put him in a stretcher. So they're like completely stretched, like on a stretcher, like taped in. So they're not moving and they're breathing through a mask. So if they have a convulsion, they don't drown. So being able to do all those things makes it complicated. Like in your case in Abaco, there's no way we could have done it safely. No. You had to go to a chamber.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Steve, that's a good question. We all know about getting the bends if you ascend too rapidly. Curious, is there any risk to descending too quickly? There are some risks on closed circuit or open. Not related to the bends, the risks of descending too quickly are you able to clear your airways, right? You could have sinus issues, mask squeeze, ear squeeze. You have to be able to clear on the way down and equalize the pressure in those open cavities to the outside ambient pressure. You got to equalize it. So that's the risk.
Yeah,
but there's no rule that says you shouldn't descend faster than this. The rule is but the rule is so you can clear, you can equalize.
Yeah.
It's
so
not
the
because
rule
of the
is
bends.
when you're ascending, depending on the agency and stuff, they'll have rules like 30 feet per minute, 10 meters per minute ascending rate. Descending rate, the recommendation is as as fast, I guess, as you feel comfortable, which includes being able to clear. Now, I've talked about it in the past that I have this medical condition that seems to be, it's a good thing for diving, which is I don't need to do Valsalva or whatever. My ears just auto clear.
I kind of yawn
as I go down. Yeah. So I can just go down and I don't have to worry about it. It's just my ears they do it by themselves. So I can actually bomb to the bottom like on a DPV, just full force and nothing hurts me.
Yep.
Just my ears are.
For me, it actually depends on my body position. Most of the time, I can clear really fast, just clearing without even thinking about it. But every once in a while,
you struggle.
I have a struggle. I'm like, darn it, and I go up, and I'll have to do a little bit of that. And what you don't want, because you're gonna have a little bit of an earache, is when you go clearing. When you do that, man, you know you're gonna pay the price back on the boat.
Exactly.
You don't want to force it.
Demi Wolf asked, what do you think of the Bailout system? Did you test it? We haven't tested it. They invited us to come to Hawaii. They're in Hawaii. They invited us to come to Hawaii and test it and get certified and make a video of it.
Okay.
I think that the Bailout system is, it's the same issue that I saw with the transmitter from Garmin. It's an overly complicated way of solving a non-issue. The Bailout system, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is a system that basically uses like a ballast. So you don't have to use a BCD. You just use a tank. And then the tank starts with air, but it can pump water into it. And then depending on where you are, it will like either add air or water to maintain your buoyancy. So you don't have to use a BCD up and down. It's just a tank, basically. I personally don't think is very useful. I asked the question, to the guys at the booth at DEMA. I'm like, what if I want to use a dry suit? How does that play out? Because the computer is supposed to figure out where you are and keep your perfect buoyancy. So the idea is you go down, and when you get there, you're perfect. You don't keep going down. And you go up, and it adds water instead of air.
Automatically.
And then you get there, and you're perfect.
So
like wherever you go, you're perfect, right?
Like
That's the idea. So the question is, what if I have a dry suit? How does it figure that out? Because the dry suit is not going to add and remove automatically, just the system. So they're like, well, it's warm in Hawaii. Okay, well, that doesn't answer my question.
Well, no, it does answer your question. That doesn't compensate for a dry suit.
Exactly. So, anyway, I just thought it's like a solution to a non-issue.
I'd like to try it.
Yeah, of course, I would try it, but I'm not rushing to go buy it.
I live in Alaska. Is there temperature considerations regarding equipment? Definitely. Outside of a dry suit, yeah, for ice diving, heaters. They make heated undergarments, heated gloves. So that's a lot of extra gear. Absolutely, you're going to want to get some training on using that gear because it changes your buoyancy and your weight, and it's a lot more cumbersome. You're going to have a lot less dexterity. So yes, I have a full Santee, heated undergarment, heated gloves, and it's great, but it's a lot of stuff on. I'd rather just dive in warm water, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the Great Lakes, though, it's worth the price of being cold because those wrecks are
cool.
truly unbelievable and preserved.
Obrigado. Laura says, much love from Brazil. No
Wow.
questions. Just wanted to say love from Brazil.
That's nice.
Thank
Is that normal guy reviews? Mark, you love us so much? Dude.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I would forget saying
Hello
hello.
from
It'd be nice
Calgary.
to meet in
Sounds
person
cold.
sometime.
Your ear condition sounds like an adaptation, low key. I actually think I used to play water polo and swimming, and we used to train water polo at the diving pool. So one of the tests that we did was to take a water polo ball all the way to the bottom of the pool, which was like 30 feet deep or whatever, because it's hard. Obviously, this thing is trying to go up. So a lot of it was just me going down and braving the pain in my ears. And at some point, it just pops like just something broke inside.
Well, that may be the eustachian tube. They do say it loosens up.
And
right?
then
it's like right there.
I've been good ever since.
No, but I think you've loosened it so much or stretched it maybe that it's auto.
I don't know.
Auto
Something happened, but I benefit from it greatly. Why don't you let Woody fully express his opinions on aliens? He does. All the time, especially on those long dives, those long drives to Florida. He's like talking nonstop about all this alien nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Everybody knows that that they've been here. They are here. Just curious, were you aware of Ed's health condition at the time? Did you talk to him? How did it affect you guys at all? No. He did not tell us he had that health condition at the time that he had it. He told us a lot about it after, and I just have nothing but admiration, and I'm really glad he's okay.
This is a good question
Didn't affect
by
us.
Price CCR Diver. How many times do you do your pre-dive checks before you dive? Once at home and once at the dive site? Yeah, it's pretty much like that. So you do a check when you assemble your rebreather. You follow a checklist, and then you do a check. You never start a dive with a known issue. And then right before you go on the dive, we do, a safety drill where you make sure your gear is working properly, but also you talk to everybody about what they have. And we go over everything. I have this as my safety gear. I have this much air in my tanks. This is the kind of mix that I have. We talk about all those things. So yeah, I guess is twice, when you assemble the unit and then right before you start your dive.
Hi, Allison. The quarries in Knoxville. Yeah, it's not that far. We'd dive them if there's some cool stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the depth, how deep we would go in those, I know they have some pretty significant thermoclines, so I would definitely have to dive dry and maybe, depending upon how deep we went, with a heated garment. So it could be a lot of work, but yeah.
Thank you, Sam, by the way.
As I get older, honestly,
you get colder quickly.
I just want the warm water more and more. I really do.
But thank you, Sam. He said he has to get back to work, so I appreciate that. Sam has been to both of our meetups.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
Good seeing you.
By the way, I did the dive today at the Gator.
Oh, yeah.
It's warm water now. They converted. It's 73 degrees.
Oh,
because it used to be like low 60s.
It was brutal. I was always cold in that. The River Scout.
Yeah.
In that exhibit, yeah.
It's
shallow, but it's a cool little dive.
Yeah, they have a catfish in there that's like my size. I didn't even know they grow that big. His name is Dwight.
Yep.
And he's more of a dog than a cat. He loves divers.
Right
he's like I'm scrubbing the wall and he like pops in front of my face. I'm like, dude, come on. Like I'm trying to clean your environment, but he doesn't bite or anything. He's just like he loves to wrap around your face and stuff. It's crazy.
Awesome.
So yeah, that was a cool dive today. Let's see. What do you guys do for a job before dive talk?
We
still do it. It's funny because last week I was on a trip for work, and the topic of dive talk came up, and a person was like, "Why are you here? Like, why are you in this work trip? Why aren't you like a full-time YouTuber?" And I'm like, "How big do you think?"
Yeah.
We're a tiny channel compared with all these
Mr. Beast,
full-time YouTubers.
Look, he's got like 200+ million subscribers.
Right.
He gets our subscriber count. What do we have? 300
every hour.
365. That's something like that. 365,000.
Yeah.
He's like, wow. Yeah, I just got 365,000 more
during
subscribers.
Lunch. Yeah.
Between 11 and 12.
Exactly.
We're small, but I think we would both love to eventually only be able to do dive talk. We've talked about that. We'll get there.
Yeah. Hello, huge fan here about the dive talk go. How do you deal with the low experienced divers who get it? Divers with no training and get injured, I assume not legally your responsibility, your skiers. Well, you have to get trained to get the dive talk go. We are not going to ship it to people who are not certified. We only ship it to instructors or certified divers. So the idea that you have a diver who's not trained or not experienced that buys a go and goes and gets injured, that's not possible. It's not a thing.
Reese's Pieces. What is your favorite open water dive site in South Florida? I keep going back to Jupiter drift diving with the sharks, the wreck trek.
Yeah.
I like the big life. I love seeing the sharks. Jupiter's got so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
I love the operators in that area. A lot of good operators. So now off of Fort Lauderdale more and more though, there's a lot of wrecks. It depends what we want to do, right?
Some technical depths too, like pretty deep wrecks.
Deep wrecks. And then I've heard that everybody goes to Wilmington for the Meg Tooth, right? But you know what I heard is really epic there? Do you know what's supposedly unbelievable off of Wilmington? besides the
The
teeth.
teeth? No, that's all I knew. What?
Lionfish hunting.
Lionfish hunting?
They said
really?
loaded with
Oh,
lionfish.
dude, we gotta go
So
then. That's for sure. Somebody asked, what's the best barbecue in Atlanta? That's a good question. For me, my favorites is Smoke Jacks.
And I like Williamson
in Alpharetta.
Brothers.
What?
Williamson Brothers.
Oh, they
it's
have
my favorite
amazing-
sauce.
Amazing.
It's so tangy and delicious.
Yeah.
Their brisket, it's really good.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, but Williamson Brothers sauce.
If you're in North Atlanta, in Alpharetta specifically, Smoke Jacks. Their burnt ends. Could eat
There's some
that
good,
every
good
day.
barbecue around.
I don't.
Try both
obviously,
when you're here.
but-
See which one you like better. Williamson Brothers, I think, is also in Marietta, not far from where Gus lives. Both are great.
Pros and cons of open versus closed circuit. What's safer? I mean, I personally
Big
think that
conversation, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I personally think that, closed circuit rebreathers are safer than open circuit just because you have a whole open circuit system to default to if your closed circuit fails. But obviously that requires a level of training and experience and attention, to be able to dive a closed circuit unit. So there's pros and cons for both. I personally will not go into caves in just open circuit. I don't want to say I won't because I would, but if I had a choice, I will always be on a rebreather, on a closed circuit rebreather, because I think it's safer.
I agree.
Yeah.
Garrett, wow. I've heard this about Jacksonville. We had a lionfish derby out of Jacksonville, and 40-ish divers took out 1,500 lionfish.
Dude,
I'm trying to
what
think
are we
if
doing?
I've dove in Jacksonville, because I
haven't.
know there's a whole dive
Not that far
community there.
north. No.
But I would dive in Jacksonville to go on that derby.
Oh my God. We should make like a Dive Talk Go team and enter those derbies.
Yeah,
Just partner up with a
some of
boat
our-
operator.
Some of our patrons that were on our last trip do that lionfish diving all the time out of Wilmington. They're like, you don't understand. That's the secret spot. There's
Oh man.
we'll each get 50 to 100. No
We gotta
problem.
get a go team and get after it. Any rentals available if I train rebreather? Fun
There's-
fact: there are some instructors that have rental units, like the Isla Divers in Orlando.
Yep.
I believe they have 3 units for rental, so
They
you
do.
can go and get the training. And if you like it, buy your own unit. If you don't, then you get certified in the unit.
And they have a number of instructors now.
And they
I
have
think
several
3
instructors.
Instructors that teach on the go.
And the instructor trainer that we're talking to in Asia, he wants to buy 2 units also
great.
for rental. So
And by the way, the
yeah.
Isla Divers is out of Orlando.
yeah, Orlando.
Manny Figueroa
Figueroa, yeah.
is the owner, and he's a great owner.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we will get a jersey for a team dive
Yeah,
go
you have to.
lionfish killers. Kill
We got-
us. Killaz.
Killas.
Yeah.
Killas.
Get a
I
nice
need to get my back, and then I'll start thinking about that. But I'm working on it.
for sure. Let's
Rough.
see what else do we have. Oh man, I feel like I saw like a really good question earlier and I missed
I mean,
it.
there's so many, and by the way, we probably need
Yeah.
to wrap it up soon.
Super
I gotta
chat. Well,
go.
we're 7 minutes from an hour. Let's make it to the hour mark. So we got 7 minutes. I know you have to go. Let's see. What else do we have here? Any questions? Still waiting for the collab with Seuss. That would be cool.
Samantha, I'm glad. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad our channel helps you, and it's helping you in general. So that's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm looking. These are
How does
scrolling fast.
motorcycles and diving go together, would you say? Which bikes are your favorites? Greeting from Turkey. They don't go together. They're both fun activities, but they're very different. I ride an Indian bike, but I don't ride as much. It's maybe because it's super hot these days. Now that the weather is starting to change, I might start riding a little bit
You
more.
have a beautiful bike, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? My biggest regret is not getting scuba certified in my younger years.
I like this question from Fox on Roller Coaster.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest red flag that I should look out for when looking for an instructor? That's a really
question.
good question. We probably each have our opinion on it. I would tell you that when you go meet the instructor, they're all about themselves and how great they are. And they're not talking to you and finding out what you want. What is your goals? What are you getting certified for? What journey do you want to take on this? But it's only, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that, I'm unbelievable. That would be a huge red flag for me. They need to really care about you. That I don't care. To me, I don't care if they're an instructor for PADI, for SSI, for INTD, for any other agency. I don't care about that. That's not really relevant. Maybe you would say, well, what is your experience in the thing that I want to get trained on? I think that would be relevant. Like, obviously, if they're going to be training you for rebreather diving, you want to know they do a lot of rebreather diving, right? Not like every once in a while.
That is, to me, the biggest red flag, is that they actually do whatever you're training on. You know, in open water diving, most instructors will be doing open water diving, so that's not as easy to pick. I think what you said about they care about you more than themselves and talking about themselves is the biggest red flag when it comes to that. I think that unfortunately the biggest red flags you will spot when it's too late. Like the fact that they're always in their knees and they're unable to keep their trim and they have terrible buoyancy, or they cannot, for example, explain the why behind what they're asking you to do. You know, that I've seen with new instructors too, where they are teaching a skill. Let's just say emergency swim ascent. And then you ask them, why are you doing that? And they cannot explain. It's, well, that's the way they taught me. And they don't know why. Yeah. That is a red flag. But by the time you're there, you're too late. You're already paid. You're already taking the class. So it's hard to do it before. However, for specialty courses like Rebreather, like photography, like search and recovery, like things like that are specialties, deep diving and whatnot, if your instructor doesn't do that a lot, I would stay away. Could you find somehow some instructor who has never done underwater photography and they teach you a great underwater photography class? I mean, the chances are very, very small. It could happen, but I would potentially stay away from them. The Rebreather is a especially good case where you have instructors who are like instructor in 10 different units and they never dive the one unit that you want to dive. And I've seen them online where people comment, you know, like, oh, I'm trying to get sidewinder training in Mexico or whatever. Like, and then you see these comments like, I'm a sidewinder instructor. I'm like, bro, I've seen your videos and you're never diving the sidewinder.
Yeah,
like, why are you?
No sense.
It's terrible, right? But it does happen. So look for people that actually do whatever you're trying to learn. You know, that will be the easiest way to find good instructors. All right, bunch of different questions, but we have 3 minutes, and then we're going to wrap up. Guys, thank you again for joining. Let's see. Are you still affiliated with the Georgia Aquarium? Diving there next month and interested in any recommendations, other things to see. So the diving that Woody and I have done at the Georgia Aquarium is maintenance dives as volunteers, not the diving that people do where you come and you have an experience, right?
The dive immersion.
It's called the dive immersion program. So, and we've had this question before, like, hey, I'm gonna be there on Tuesday. Will you guys be there? So even if we're there the day that you're going, which is highly unlikely, but even if that happens, the maintenance dives happen really early in the morning before guests arrive. So you will never really run into us, especially underwater or anything like that. Like even after taking showers and wrapping up and whatever, I still don't see the guests. They arrive way later.
Yeah, and they have some later dives where when we used to do the dive show in the Ocean Voyager, the dive show was later, so you would always see the dive immersion folks swimming by you while you're doing the dive show. But what Gus is saying is when you're on, I'm not active there anymore, so I've just let mine expire. But when you are doing those maintenance dives, you're not then allowed to join the dive immersion program. It's a separate team to be able to dive with the guests. You have to be on that team. And they only have hired employees for that. There's no volunteer dive immersion program divers. They're actually employees of the Georgia Aquarium.
Yeah, there are some volunteers in the dive immersion program, but they do like the check-in. Like they'll be at the desk and help you out and answer your questions and whatnot, but they won't be in the water. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Let's answer one last question. So let's make it good. We already
Age of
talked
Woody
about
is
our Bailout
60. I just
system.
turned 60 September 6th.
Let's see.
Reading as well.
Any final questions?
Why would you recommend the Go Rebreather to a new diver? Good question. What else would complete the perfect gear with it? Thanks. I happen to think that you can learn rebreather diving pretty early in your diving. Like, I'm not one you need to dive a ton of hundreds of open circuit. I don't think that's true.
You have to be a tech diver.
I would say that I think the standards want you to have, I should know my own standards. It's something like 30 or 50 dives. I can't remember exactly which one, before you can then get certified on the Go. But I think it's fine after that.
Yeah.
Right? Because the earlier you start rebreather diving, because I don't care what experience you have on open circuit, you're going to start over when you go on a rebreather, because the buoyancy, your breathing isn't affecting your buoyancy the same anymore. So
Well,
either
it's
way,
actually-
you could do, I've done 500 open circuit dives. Am I going to be better on a rebreather than somebody with 50?
It's
Probably
actually if this was a chart, right? It would be like an X, where the line is the more experience that you have, the harder the crash,
Yeah.
right? When
I really think
when
that's
you're
right.
taking the training,
Yes.
because you're so good
Yes.
at open circuit diving, and then they put a closed circuit on you and crash
like
and
a
burn.
mess.
And the impact in your mental health, like while you're going through the training,
ego
is
blow.
harder.
You're like-
Whereas if you're a new diver,
Yeah.
and then they put you on closed circuit, you're like, well, I wasn't great before, and I'm terrible now. We're all
Same.
terrible. Like, it doesn't matter. The more diving experience that you have, the harder it's gonna hit you.
It doesn't help, because,
Yeah,
so the long answer to that question is,
that's a good question
Right
to,
away.
to finish.
right away you can get certified on the Go. I think
will
the
say-
standards say you need either 30 or 50. I'd have to
Yeah,
go back
and
to
there's
our
a minimum
standards.
age and all of that. But here's my standard. This is Gus's standard, not Dive Talk Academy or other agencies. My standard is you need to fly whatever you're bailing out to in autopilot. If you bail out your rebreather, whatever you're falling into, side mount, back mount, whatever, needs to be autopilot at that point. If you're having an emergency and you bail out, you need to be super proficient at that. Now, I think that 50 dives in, for example, you're diving in autopilot. You know your buoyancy, you breathe in, you breathe out. Like, it's pretty easy to dive open circuit. Some people can do it in like dive 10. Like when I trained my brother, we were like 5 dives in, and this guy's like a pro right now. Like, some people pick it up super fast. But that to me is like the measuring line. Like, if you're struggling with open circuit, if you think that you have an emergency and you bail out and you wouldn't be safe, like you still don't know how your gear works, then I don't think you're ready for rebreather diving. Even if you have the minimum amount of dives that we say you have, and obviously it's up to every instructor to enforce whether they think their student is ready. But if I was teaching somebody to dive the Go or any other rebreather, would be how comfortable are you with the system that you're bailing out to if you have a failure? Because guaranteed during training, we're going to simulate catastrophic failures on the rebreather, because we want to see what you're going to do if your rebreather all of a sudden blows up underwater. Now what? If you run out of oxygen, now what? If you run out of diluent, now what, right? All those failures are part of the class. And when you bail out, it needs to be autopilot. Automatic bail out. I know what I'm doing. I got this. I'm going to go to the surface and be safe.
That's a great answer. And I absolutely 100% agree. And by the way, Taylor, happy birthday to you too. I saw your comment scrolled. Your birthday just passed. So I think we have to wrap it up. This was a great conversation. It's good to see everybody virtually here. We got some cool videos coming up. DiveTalkGo.com. We're still working on Dive Talk Academy.
Coming soon.
And thank you, everybody. Go enjoy